Hi, this is Caroline from The Happy Sensitive. In this video, I wanted to talk with you a little bit about what is meditation, how can you meditate, and what are some really important things to keep in mind when you want to start some kind of meditation practice. Okay, so I'm not actually going to go into all the ins and outs of different kinds of meditations because I have a bunch of stuff on that in the Happy Sensitive library. There are a bunch of videos out there from all kinds of people with all kinds of meditation practices. But what I want to talk about here is something slightly different, which is crucial to any meditation practice. And if you do this, it doesn't even matter that much which meditation practice you pick per se. Well, it matters, but this is foundational to anything else that you do. And to explain this, I'm going to share a little story from a client of mine from now a few years ago. But she was really stressed out and she had a lot going on. And I was working with her to get her to manage her the overstimulation that she was experiencing. Because once she started to get overstimulated, everything went off track, right? Like once you get overwhelmed, everything goes off track and everything becomes a problem. And now normally when I work with somebody on that, I have a whole bunch of steps that I take my clients through that we build out one by one, right? It's not just one thing I teach them. It's like we do this first, and then once you've got that, there's another thing on top of that, another thing on top of that. We really build it out as a detailed supportive practice. But in her case, what was happening is she had all these different ideas and she had all these different things, but her go-to state was when she was busy, she would run harder. She would do more, right? She would just kind of run around and then she'd freak herself out and then things would get worse. So what I worked on with her was actually get her to just sit down. When she was overwhelmed, get her to sit down. And when she finally got to the point she could do that, and it took a while because that was really, really hard for her. This was really hardwired into her. It's like, I'm stressed, I need to stay busy. So when she went into extra busy mode to get herself to stop and sit, and this is the thing, you don't have to actually sit down, but you need to stop. You need to stop, right? And that made a huge difference for her, and that is the core of a meditation practice. That you stop what you're doing and you take some time for a whole different kind of process. That could be a more detailed practice, it could be a breathing practice, but honestly, it could also just be staring out the window for 15 minutes. The most important thing about a meditation practice is that you stop. That you dare to stop. And this sounds so easy, but this is actually the hardest part. And I think this is why a lot of meditation practices fail. Because when you're in this busy mode, you have all the reasons in the world why you gotta keep going and you don't have time to stop and there's no way you can stop and it's unsafe to stop and blah, blah, blah. So you keep running, right? So the stopping is actually the hardest part. And the stopping itself could be the meditation for you. So when your thoughts are going a million miles an hour, or you're just running through a to-do list, or you feel like you don't get any time for yourself, stop. Any kind of good meditation practice, and I don't mean the kind of practices that take you off to a pink fluffy cloud where you feel all amazing and infused with celestial energies. Those have their place, but those are actually really not that good as a daily meditation practice, especially for sensitive people, because it's already very easy for us to go up there and go on these flights of fancy and to kind of go and get lost in our imagination. So you actually need something that helps you be here, but also stop. And I'm stopping right now. I don't know if you can hear it, but the neighbor just turned up the music, or maybe it's a car passing by. We'll find out in a few minutes. And it's easy to let those things distract. It's easy to let those things kind of get you into more. I have to have more thoughts. I have to do more things. So anytime you start to feel yourself getting stressed out, if you can stop, just be here. And here for me right now is being really annoyed. And I think it's the neighbor. And I think I'm gonna have to go bang on his door and remind him he's being too loud. He's like a little boy sometimes. It's really, I don't know. But that's still, I need to be here first. I need to be in this place where I stop and I feel and I get really honest with myself, right? Because let's talk about noise sensitivity. It's one of those things where it's really easy to go into like, oh, I shouldn't mind. Oh, it should be okay. Oh, I'm sure it'll pass. I talked to somebody, and again, that's a few years ago, who was dealing with, there was like a lot of noise coming from one of the neighbors, but she lived in this really, really secluded area where the next neighbors were like a whole piece of woods away. And they played music so loud that she could hear it inside her own house. So that's like antisocial levels, like out the wazoo, right? That's extreme. And I was talking to her and she wanted to like manage the overwhelm and the stress. And I asked her, like, have you ever gone to this person and talked to them and told them how loud they are and how antisocial they are? And, you know, say that in a strategic way, of course. Don't be like, hey, you're an asshole. But, you know, let them know I can hear you. I'm not happy about it. And she never had. So she'd been sitting at home being upset about this for 3 months, to the point where she was having all kinds of mental health issues because of this noise, and she never went and actually confronted the person about it. So there's a good meditation practice gets you to the point where you're really honest with yourself about what's happening right now, what you're feeling, what you need. And in order to do that, you need to stop and you need to be here. And that means feeling what you're feeling. That means just stop trying to smooth it over. Stop trying to fix it in your head. Stop pretending that whatever it is, it'll pass. Stop all of that. Stop it. And just be really honest about where you're at right now, what's going on with you. And that's hard, right? That takes practice. And a lot of the things we've learned as highly sensitive people is when you get to that point of honesty, and this is something I find, you know, with this, I work on with my clients, is you get to that point of honesty and right in there, all the yes buts come in. Like, yeah, but I'm just oversensitive. Yeah, but this, that. Yeah, but I shouldn't make a big deal out of that, right? And that's how things stew. So a good meditation practice is something that helps you get to the core of what is going on with me right now. What do I need? What do I lack? What is happening? What is my very everyday truth? Not my celestial big picture truth. No. Just right here, right now, what is going on? And that requires stopping, because when you're running around, you don't have time to feel what's really going on with you. You don't have time to notice. You don't have time to let it sink in. So good meditation practice is something that makes you stop. Stop pretending it's something else. Stop smoothing it over. Stop making excuses. Stop running from feelings. Stop trying to distract yourself. Stop trying to be someone you're not. Stop talking over the things that you're noticing and trying to like wash them away. A good meditation practice is I'm here, I'm noticing, I'm feeling, I'm seeing, and I'm not trying to change it, right? That's a practice. That is a good meditation practice, to go into that space where you're like, this is it. And knowing that this is it right now, of course it can change, but this is it right now. This is where I'm at. And, you know, there's a lot of tools that can help you with that, but you can get lost in the tools as well. You know, there are a lot of meditation practices that can become this whole thing that actually makes you more distracted. that makes you actually lose track of how you're really feeling because you're so busy trying to do the meditation practice right that you don't really know where you're at anymore. You don't really know how you feel. You don't really know what's happening with you because you're so busy trying to imagine yourself inside a beautiful velvet box where everything's serene or something like that, right? And so you're like trying to tune out the rage or trying to tune out the fear or trying to tune it out because you're trying to meditate on this thing. But a good meditation practice is just stop, be here. And you don't need an actual meditation practice per se to get there. You could get there just stopping, just sitting down or standing, just stop. Stop trying to do all these things. You can get there by doing something that puts you in a bit more of a meditative space. And I don't mean drugs, and I don't mean Mother Nature's herbs or whatever people like to call it these days. I mean something, it could be something creative. It could be something where it kind of takes you out of your day-to-day worries. So there's a little bit of distraction, but it gets you very focused here on colors. What does this look like? What is happening here? Photography can be that. Art can be that. Dance can be that, right? Dance can be feeling what's happening in your body. How are you doing right here, right now? So any of these things can become also a meditative practice. It doesn't mean you have to sit on a Zen pillow, and cross your legs and be serene and, do all these things. It doesn't. What's really important, especially for highly sensitive people, is that you have a way to stop and to notice and to acknowledge and create that little space where you don't worry about what does this mean for the rest of my day? What does this mean for the rest of my life? But you just create this space where you just allow whatever is going on with you right now to be there. It's allowed to be here. All your feelings are allowed to be here. All your thoughts, all your worries, tension in your body, anything, it's allowed to be here. Creating that space for yourself. That's a really good meditation. And so sometimes, it can help to have incense and pillows and all kinds of things that help you kind of transition into that space. But that's the essence. And if you don't stop, if you get super busy with the pillows and the incense and you just kind of keep running around with that and you're not stopping, then you're still not meditating. Even if you have all the books and the guided, visualizations and all of that, you're still not meditating. So I don't even care if it's called meditation, what you do, who cares? It's what's important is that you stop. That's what makes a difference. That you develop the guts, because it takes guts. It takes a lot of guts to stop. Say, I'm not gonna go with the flow of all these things right now. I'm just gonna stop and stand. You're like you're a rock in the middle of a stream, and you're not moving. You're like, I'm just staying here, right here. I'm not moving. Maybe just for 5 minutes, and then I'll move again. But for now, for a few minutes, I'm just staying put right here, exactly here. And that's very powerful, and that is very helpful in all other kinds of parts of your life as well. Because if you can take a moment and just be here, that gives you a different kind of presence in conversations, in discussions, in kind of centering and figuring out what do we need to do here. If you're always in this tendency to run along and kind of keep moving, then you never have time to gather your thoughts and your feelings and your intuition. Because that space where you stop, that's where your intuition can speak to you. But when you're running, your intuition, or what seems like your intuition, is really just going to be your regular thoughts screaming at you, probably. Okay, so the neighbor has stopped, so I think I won't have to go over there and tell him off about the noise. But I will when I need to. I have done that, and I've had to do that a few times over the last month, where time after time he seemed to forget about what the acceptable noise levels were that we worked out previously. But that too, like if you run over right away, if your response is like, oh, there's noise, like run over there right away, you don't have time to gather your thoughts and feelings and really, really stand in that and let somebody know, like, hey, this is too loud And like you really know it in your bones, that you really feel it. Like you have taken some time to notice like this is too loud, and from there you go. As opposed to running over there from a kind of fast stress response, like, oh no, and then, you know, the neighbor might say like, what do you mean it's too loud? And then you start doubting yourself, right? So a good meditation practice helps you with setting boundaries, helps you with being aware of what you need and where you're at and what's going on with you, all those things. So it becomes a part of your life. It's not this little escapist kind of practice where you pretend that you're in la la land and then you come back. I know people do that, and I know there is a place for that sometimes, but there's also a really strong tendency towards escapism when you start embracing those kinds of practices. And what you really need more is have the tools to be here and to make the life that you're in a life that suits you. Now, if you're listening to this, you're like, that sounds really nice, but I have like a million thousand hang-ups. How about that? How do I do this? You're welcome to set up a clarity call with me so I can talk it through with you in person, hear your story, hear what's going on for you, hear what's different for you, hear what doesn't work for you, and then I can give you tailored advice. And if you're more of a self-study person, I also have a ton of resources on getting grounded, dealing with your feelings, dealing with overstimulation, dealing with crowds, dealing with all kinds of things inside the Happy Sensitive Library. All right, this is Caroline from the Happy Sensitive. Thanks so much for listening. Bye-bye.